Hey guys, today I want to talk about 5 drought tolerant plants. My name is Crystal, and if you are new here, I garden in zone 7A/7B. I'm located in northeastern Pennsylvania. If you like my content, go ahead and like this video and subscribe to my channel. I would greatly appreciate it. Now, these 5 plants that I'll be discussing in this video all have 5 things in common. First is, of course, they're drought tolerant. Second is that they love to be in full sun, so 6+ hours of sun. Third is they're deer resistant. The fourth is that they enjoy being planted in very well draining soil. And the fifth is that they're very low maintenance. If you want, you can trim them down a bit as needed, but they really don't require much care. The first one on my list is catmint nepeta. I specifically have experience growing the cat's meow catmint nepeta in my landscape. It can be used in many different ways. You can use it in a curbside strip, or as what some people refer to as a house strip. It can be used in an herb garden with other drought tolerant herbs like rosemary, thyme, oregano, or Russian sage. You can use it along a pathway or a walkway in a mass planting for all summer long color, which is how I plan on using mine. Some people also use it along a slope or a hillside garden for erosion control. And it can also be used in a container with other plants like sedum or lantana that have very similar care needs. I actually showed in another video previously how I trimmed back my catmint to get a second flush of blooms and to also prevent it from getting kind of leggy and splitting in the center, which is one of the cons to the cat's meow catmint. There are other varieties that are more dwarf in size or smaller and more compact in size that don't have that issue. That variety is the cat's pajamas. So if you guys are interested in a smaller catmint, you can look for the cat's pajamas. The variety that I have, it gets 17 to 20 inches high and 2 to 3 feet wide. It has more of a sprawling habit, which is great for a crown cover, or if you want to crowd out weeds, prevent weed growth in your garden beds. It's great for that use. So back in one of my previous videos, I showed how I sheared it down. In that video, I had sheared down one of my catmints. I think it was like halfway or 3/4 of the way down, and we've been getting a lot of rain, and because it's such a vigorous grower, it still grew back, which is what I wanted, but it also flopped in the center. So what I think I'm going to do next time is I'm going to cut it all the way back to the base of the plant, which is what I did recently after that first cut on my first catmint. And that second catmint that I cut all the way down to the ground, it is flushing out with new growth, and I believe it'll probably have a better growth habit, and I'll be able to avoid the splitting in the center with that plant. So that's just a little word of advice from me. But if you don't mind that look and you don't care, then that variety would be great for you. If you want something that's a little bit low fuss, maybe something that will fit into a smaller space, like a very narrow space, the cat's pajamas variety is a variety for you. The second best drought tolerant plant in my landscape is sedum. Some people call it stonecrop. There's many different varieties, shapes, colors, and sizes. There's actually 400 different species of sedums. One of the cons is that they cannot take heavy foot traffic. So if you want to use it as a ground cover, great, you can. But if it's in an area that gets a lot of foot traffic, like maybe between some walkway stones, it may not fare very well. The stems easily break off when you step on them. That, however, could be a great opportunity to propagate and get more plants for free. I have a video on that actually if you want to go back and look at how to propagate sedums. It's very easy process. With that being said, legally, some plants have patents on them. Patents are something that a plant owner or a plant inventor pays for, and it protects them. It protects them because it keeps them from losing money by having other people basically reproduce the plant without their permission and selling it. So before you do that, just make sure you check into that. I actually have a low-growing ground cover creeping type of sedum in one of my front walkway beds, and it gets these really tiny little yellow flowers starting probably late spring. And once the flowers start to fade, it will rebloom sporadically with the yellow little flowers. It's not as profuse, but throughout the growing season I do still get little yellow flowers on it. I don't know the exact name of that variety, but it has been a rock star in my garden. It's low growing, probably up to 6 inches high. I planted it last year. It was a small clump, and now it's probably like 6 to 8 inches wide in just one growing season. So just so you guys can get a better idea, that's kind of what it looks like. The third best drought tolerant plant that I have in my landscape is actually an evergreen. It's a dwarf conifer. It's very slow growing. It is a blue star juniper. I absolutely love this plant. Recently I've been getting really into a lot of evergreen plants and a lot of conifers. They provide year-round interest. Some of them, like the blue star juniper, are very slow growing. So you can tuck them into small little spots, and then once they start getting some size to them, you can either move them or you can move the other plants that are around them into other spots and find new homes for them, which is what I'm doing. I have my blue star juniper up by my mailbox garden bed, so it gets full blasting sun all day. It doesn't require any maintenance from me. I bought it as a very small quart size container, and I've had it out there for a couple years. Right now the leaves have more of a greenish tint to it, but once the weather starts cooling down, it gets these beautiful blue silvery color on it, and the needles, should I say, not leaves, the needles have almost like a star shape to them, which is why it's called blue star juniper. It gets 3 feet tall to about 3 to 4 feet wide at maturity. You can use it to provide amazing contrast with other different colored plants, or plants that have different colored foliage, like yellow foliage plants, or even other plants that have green foliage. It provides great texture in the garden. It's just all around a great plant. So blue star juniper, another great drought tolerant plant. The next plant on my list is ornamental grasses. I have many ornamental grasses in my landscape, but today I'm going to talk about one of my favorites, and it is the prairie winds totem pole. Now, prairie winds totem pole is a type of panicum grass. It can be up to 5 to 6 feet tall and up to 3 feet wide. It has almost a bluish green color to it, and it also gets those wheat colored seed heads at the top of it. It grows in zones 4 to 9, and the greatest part about it is that it does not split. if you get a lot of snow where you are, sometimes certain plants can tend to split or topple in the middle. That does not happen with totem pole. I planted mine last year in the summer, late summer, and it did get quite some size on it by the end of the season, and we did get a lot of snow, and it looked absolutely beautiful out by my front mailbox, which is where I have it, along with my blue star juniper. It held up really well. It did not split at all. Now, totem pole does clump slowly over time, but it does stay where you want it. Drought tolerant plant number 5, my absolute favorite plant in the entire world. And I know for some people they really don't care for this plant, but for me it just does something for me that other plants don't. It is lavender, or lavandula. Lavender is known for its wonderful scent and beautiful foliage and flowers. A lot of people I have read have had so much trouble with growing lavender, even in containers. I think that really depends on the type of soil that it's grown in. Even if it gets a lot of rain, you can get away with growing lavender if it rains too much, if it's in a very gritty, sandy, well-draining soil. I have, I believe, 3 different types of lavender. The one I'm going to show in this video is a lavender hide coat, I think is how it's pronounced, Hidcote. It is very hardy in our zone 7A, 7B. Actually, this one is hardy from zone 5 to 9. It gets 18 inches tall to 24 inches wide, and it blooms mid to late summer. There are other lavender varieties that bloom earlier. I actually have one of those, and I'll make separate videos to showcase what types of lavenders that I have with all the information on that. That'll be another video that I'll make after this for you guys. But it has many uses. So a lot of people use lavender in essential oils. They'll use it in body lotions or different body products. Some people will dry the lavender flowers. It makes for a beautiful dried flowered arrangement. Some people even use it in certain recipes, so like baked recipes or other things like drinks. Perfect example of that is Starbucks. If you're a Starbucks drinker, their lavender matcha latte. It's definitely not for everyone. I tried it and I do love lavender, maybe not so much in a latte. But lavender has been around for so long, and there's so many different types. I would say just Google and research which type of lavender does well in your area, and that will really help with your success in growing lavender wherever you are. I personally have never had any issues with growing lavender, and like I said before, I have 3 different types in my landscape, and I plan on getting more because I love them so much. I attribute that to the fact that I have the right types of lavender in my landscape. Secondly, I have them growing in an area that's more mounded up. So they're planted right by my walkway bed, which gets a full sun from about noon up until late evening, which is the strongest sun in part of the day. And I do have clay soil where I am, but again, they're mounded up. So my walkway garden bed is kind of like mounded up on a hill, so the plants aren't on a flat surface. So I think that helps with drainage as well. So those are my 5 top picks as far as the best drought tolerant plants. Again, I'm might be a little bit biased because those are plants that I have experience with in my landscape. Sorry for the background noise. So tell me in the comments section, which are your favorite drought tolerant plants? Just drop a comment below. And again, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to my channel. Have a good one, guys.